On May 10, 2022, over the turbulent waves of the Atlantic Ocean, a single-engine Cessna 208 Caravan suddenly loses altitude. Its only pilot stops breathing and falls unconscious, not even managing to report the issue to the air traffic controllers. Scared passengers are left as the only people who can take control to prevent an inevitable crash. Welcome to Storytime Channel, and today we'll share with you some incredible stories when regular passengers became the only hope to save a falling plane. Let's dive in. On May 10, 2022, flying between the Bahamas and the coast of Florida, 39-year-old passenger Darren Harrison is returning from a fishing trip, enjoying the beautiful views. But suddenly, the pilot's voice interrupts this calm moment. The pilot feels sick, then silence. Realizing something's wrong, Darren decides to check the cockpit, where he sees an empty seat and a control panel filled with buttons and levers. He realizes he is faced with a real threat, a plane without a pilot. Taking a deep breath, he sits at the controls and tries to communicate with the air traffic controllers. Robert Morgan, a veteran air traffic controller with 20 years of experience and a former flight instructor, answers him. Darren mentions that he doesn't know how to fly. He can see Florida's coast, but doesn't know where he is. The controller asks him to press the ident button and set the frequency to 3,215. This would activate the transponder to get attention from air control. But Darren can't find it, and Robert himself manages to spot the plane on his radar. He guides the passenger to Palm Beach International Airport because it has a longer and less busy runway. Immediately, airport operations are halted, nearby planes are redirected, and emergency services are alerted. Robert tells Darren to keep the plane's nose slightly up until the main wheels touch down. Despite the tension, Darren bravely follows the instructions via radio and slowly approaches the runway. At just 200 feet, the plane safely lands at Palm Beach. After landing, emergency medical staff rush the unconscious pilot to the hospital, saving his life. From that day on, Darren became a real hero, and his story became a miracle in aviation. A similar but more tragic story unfolded over Florida in April 2009, later termed as the Easter Miracle. That day, a twin-turboprop Super King Air with 4 passengers on board was heading from Marco Island, Florida to Jackson, Mississippi, after the pilot reported reaching 9,000 feet and climbing. Radio contact was suddenly lost. Moments later, another voice came on. It was Doug White, a passenger, saying the pilot was unconscious and not breathing, and they needed urgent help. His wife and 2 teenage daughters were with him. Doug had a pilot's license and experience flying a single-engine Cessna, but never a powerful King Air. Air traffic controllers stepped in, guiding him. He even called a friend who was a King Air specialist for landing advice. Given that a King Air lands at a higher speed than a regular single-engine plane, this was a real challenge for Doug. The entire airport and thousands worldwide listening to the radio held their breath watching this dramatic landing. The most tense moment was the final landing phase, when White was unsure what to do post-touchdown. But with teamwork and controller support, the landing was successful. After landing, it was confirmed the pilot had sadly passed away, with the cause of his death remaining unclear. This incident reminded us of the risks of air travel and that human determination and help can work wonders in critical moments. Doug White, his family, and the controllers were rightly called heroes. Their teamwork and calmness in a crisis saved lives and averted potential tragedy. That's all for today. If you liked this format and want to see more of such stories, please subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments. Thanks, and see you next time.